All right, everybody. It's Steve with Real Progress in Action. A lot has gone on the last couple of days. Part of me wants to talk about Donald Trump and the impeachment and the victory, if you will, that the Democrats gave Donald Trump. It's just almost impossible to ignore the incompetence that they displayed. You know, there's sometimes where you look at a situation and you say, you know what? I like passing the football. I love passing the football. But damn it, they got some really good cornerbacks. And the only thing that we can really do to win this game is to run the ball. But you know what? I just love passing the ball. So I don't care if I throw 40 interceptions. I don't care if we lose the game spectacularly. I'm going to go ahead and keep throwing the fucking football. Well, that's what the Democrats did with this impeachment shit. I love Rashida Tlaib a lot, but I remember impeach the fucker or whatever she said, and it's like, I get it. And yet he just went ahead and for his people, okay, for his people, they're saying to themselves, you know what, DT, you went ahead and took it to the system. You're a real warrior. You're a revolutionary. Way to make the Democrats pay. And he just made his base get all kinds of flappy, get all kinds of happy, and get all kinds of worked up and ready to roll, believing, damn it, once again, the Republicans figured out how to kick the hell out of the Democrats. And that's what they did. They really did. By pushing this thing the way they did, they were embarrassed. They didn't have the votes in the Senate, and they knew they didn't have the votes in the Senate. This was a charade. And it was also used to take away people like Bernie Sanders from campaigning. It was also used to ensure that the progressive side could stop talking about the Green New Deal and Medicare for all and all these other important things while they went ahead and played this political game. Now, should Donald Trump be impeached? Does a dog have, a fucking butthole? Yes. Of course he should be impeached. But that's not really the point here. There's a lot of things that should be. There's a lot of things that shouldn't be. The thing that shouldn't be is Hillary Clinton talking shit about the Democratic frontrunner. And, we look at the Democratic frontrunner in Bernie Sanders. And Bernie just sat there and pulled out a huge victory in Iowa. Okay? Bernie Sanders beat Buttigieg and the rest of the establishment by over 6,000 votes with 8 people running. Think about that for a minute. He was able to beat the next closest by 6,000 votes. They can play all these games with SDEs and all this stuff to help pick their state people. But you know what? It didn't change a thing. Bernie Sanders proved that he is the most popular, has the best ground game, etc. And he decidedly won Iowa. Now, there's a lot of reports out there that are going to say other than that. But let me tell you something. Bernie was running against all 7 of them. He wasn't just running against Mayor Pete. No. Pete got so many of his delegates. Bernie crushed them all in the first 2 rounds. Crushed them. It wasn't even close. And when people moved around and shifted around, when they realized that there were people that were unviable, those centrists stuck together, baby. Those centrists stuck together, and they went ahead and tried to pull the win right out from Sanders' leg, and he still wins. I don't give 2 craps about their calculations and their formulaic bullshit for awarding delegates. They got equal number of these SDEs. There was no victory to be had, Pete Buttigieg. Okay? Now, let me talk to you about what is really fucking evil. And when I say evil, folks, I mean fucking evil. Hillary Clinton is doubling down on Bernie, and she's not just doubling. See, I want to be clear here. This is the stuff you need to pay attention to. The other stuff was fluff compared to this. I don't want to give Hillary 2 seconds of airtime. I don't want to give her an eighth of a second. But she's saying what Bernie Sanders is putting forward is promising the moon. She laughed at him before and called it pie in the sky the first go round. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. Back then, the first go round, Bernie Sanders was promising up $33 trillion in new spending with only $19 trillion in new taxes. So there was a huge delta there, $14 trillion delta between what he was offering to spend and what was being taxed. Now, when the war machine does this, nobody even asks the question, how are you going to pay for it? Not a soul. But damn it, if these centrist Democrats, they know you don't get economics. They know you don't. They know you fucking look at this and look at your wallet and you say, I don't have any money. How the hell does the government have money? Where are my hard-earned tax dollars going? And this pile of shit is playing on your lethal levels of economic illiteracy. And she's trying to get in your head just like a teabagger, just like a Republican, just like a fascist, to make you think the government doesn't have means to do every single thing Bernie is saying, and then some. Like Bernie's dream is even smaller than it could be. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's no joke. So I want to read to you this. I mean, it's just astounding. Because, see, the vote blue sycophant is only a vote blue sycophant if the candidate is of the vote blue no matter who variety, meaning not Sanders. Anyone but Sanders. These parasites, and folks, they are not good people. They're not. They're awful people. And they're doing everything they can to put your children, my children, and the world we live in jeopardy. And I'm going to read this to you because I think it's worth taking a moment here. Former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton furthered her comments discrediting Senator Sanders as a viable presidential candidate on Thursday, insinuating his potential failure to deliver the moon would detract from efforts to rebuild public trust. Of all the people in the world to talk about public trust, Hillary Clinton is the absolute last person, even behind Donald Trump. And see, this is where the vote blue, no matter who people make you just gag just a little bit because they refuse to acknowledge the psychosis, the disturbing sickness that is the centrist Democrat. When asked by a talk show host, Ellen DeGeneres, you know, the lady that was hanging out with Bush at the game, having a couple drinks, knocking him down, chilling with the Bushmeister, the mass murderer, George W. Bush. You know that guy? Yeah, that same Ellen DeGeneres. If she wanted to address her prior remarks about the Vermont Independent, see, keywords, the Vermont Independent. Very, very keywords the way the Clinton News Network puts that out there, isn't it? I mean, it's cool. But they're trying to make sure they get every little dig they can. He's not a real Democrat. He's not a real Democrat. Clinton noted that while she originally made them about a year and a half ago, I have pretty clear perspective about what it's going to take to win. This is coming from the biggest loser of them all. She lost to Donald Trump. That's what kind of a intuitive nature she has, right? She didn't suicide enough people to win. And as I said earlier, that's what I think the key calculation for any voter has to be. Can they win? Can they win? Well, everybody was saying Biden, and Biden couldn't even beat any of them. Biden was so down, it's just pathetic. Pathetic levels of ignorance, counting on you to be too stupid to see through it. She's counting on you to be a dumb fuck. And most vote blues that follow Hillary that think she's good, they're the kind of people that will buy that bullshit. It's a defect of character. It's a defect of the brain to think that way. To even value Clinton's words is a defect of character. It's a repulsive, repugnant, disgusting disgrace to value what she says. It's revolting. And there are people out there sick enough to do that. You've got to be responsible for what you say. Listen to this is Clinton. You got to be responsible for what you say and what you say you're going to do, Clinton added. We need to rebuild trust in our fellow Americans and our institutions. This is coming from the Queen that tried to rig the fucking election. This piece of shit is talking about integrity. Talking about rebuilding trust. Talking about unity and unifying. That all out the window. All that unity and unifying's all out the window. Because he's not a neolib. He's not a third way, pond scum, Wall Street bought Democrat. Yeah. We need to rebuild trust in our fellow Americans and our institutions. And if you promise the moon and you can't deliver the moon, then that's going to be one of the more indicator of how, we can't trust each other. Sanders' campaign declined comment Thursday when Clinton's previous remarks surfaced last month. Sanders said in a statement that his focus was on President Donald Trump. Together, we are going to go forward and defeat the most dangerous president in American history. Clinton's comments Thursday come as Sanders is in a near tie with former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg in the Iowa caucuses. Now, I just want to say, listen to this lie. He was in Congress for years. He had one senator support him. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He's got nothing done, she says in a new documentary. He was a career politician. It's all just baloney. And I feel so bad for the people that got suckered into it. Then she comes back. I want quality, affordable health care for everybody. But let's remember what's at stake. We have a current president who's trying to take away fundamental health care rights, Clinton said, referencing the Trump administration's support for a lawsuit looking to invalidate the Affordable Care Act. So we can't have big argument about ideally what kind of health care we want for everybody because I'm on the front lines of that battle. But let's remember, if we don't win, people will lose what they have right now. So I just want everybody to understand how high the stakes are and to hold every candidate and every public office holder accountable for what they do and don't do. Now, I really do hope that you aren't the type of person that supports someone like a Hillary Clinton. It's a disgusting way of life. There's no value in it. The integrity's gone. It really diminishes how your kids should look at you too. Your kids should look down at you. The gays should go like this, my mom, my dad, they don't love people. They want kids to die. They want people to not have health care. Oh, my parents are terrible people if they supported Hillary Clinton. That's what kids should be doing. They should be analyzing mom and dad and saying, damn it, you're putting everyone's lives at risk with these lies you're telling. Because, see, the United States government can afford to do every one of these things like that. Just like that. And Bernie Sanders has been exploring executive order options like you wouldn't believe. So the things he's promised, starting with things like getting rid of all the convictions for marijuana. Things like that. Restoring voting rights to felons. You name it. I'm talking about across the board. He's got an executive order prepared for all of them. The people will not look back once they have good health care. And unlike any other candidate, Bernie Sanders can mobilize people like no other. And so while we celebrate this victory in Iowa, and we get prepared to celebrate another victory as we bust our ass in New Hampshire, and we get set to run the table, look out for these parasitical wastoid centrists who are really, really seeking to destroy your life, your children's lives, all of our lives. This is a disingenuous attack. There is nothing there that is legitimate. There's not one single thing she's saying that is born of some internal fear or concern that Bernie won't deliver. She is flat out doing this because she knows that this is taking the bread and water out of the Wall Street fuckfaces' mouths that she has spent her entire career fattening. That's what this is about. And I want to make sure you're absolutely clear that there is only one person that has a movement behind them. There's only one person capable of mobilizing massive amounts of people to make people change. And while Clinton's busy trying to undercut that, because the next time a centrist pile of shit tries to talk about unity and unifying the party, and you see this trash going on, you just remember that they never really meant it. It only meant it if it was for Hillary. They're liars, they're parasites, and they're awful people. They're trash. Absolute trash. This is no time whatsoever for allowing people to gaslight you out of fighting for your family's well-being. We've got less than 10 years to really mobilize for climate change. Bernie Sanders is the only candidate with a plan. The only candidate especially that has a legitimate chance of winning and has an entire mobilization of people across the globe. Expats, you name it. So do not let these people take away from your joy, your focus. They've already tried to steal it with impeachment. It failed. Now they've given Donald Trump even more energy. Don't let them lie like they care about health care. They don't. The only thing they care about health care is that health insurance companies keep getting paid. That's it. They don't care that your affordable care is not affordable at all. They don't care that you've got huge deductibles. They don't care that you've got an incredible amount of copays. They don't care that your prescription prices are through the fucking roof. They don't care about any of that because, after all, it's just vote blue unless it's Bernie Sanders. It's time to call their bluff and fight like hell. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progress in Action. Have a great day, everybody. I'm out.